What is up, guys? Beancrew49 here. We are back on the Desolation map. And it's a beautiful Monday here in the city of Coveton. And usually Mondays have like a negative energy to them. People are frustrated. They got to go back to work or back to school. They're kind of grumpy. But not here. Not here on this YouTube channel. We're going to keep things light. Yeah, right. For those of you who know about Monday's videos, you know that most of the time it's anything but light around here. So we'll keep the intro light at least. How about that? That's something. Today I'm going to be working on the church interior, doing a lot of the back, behind the scenes sort of things. Going to start with a bathroom, then move on to like a lounge area. Not going to get too much, this is that grind work. You know what I'm talking about? When you're making an interior, you got to grind away, and it takes a lot of time. And it's the unseen, the hero's job. It's the behind the scenes sort of thing that you don't really get a lot of credit for when you're building interiors, because a lot of people just fly around the city. They're like, oh, that's a great city, but they don't go inside. They don't explore. They don't see all the possibilities that are inside. Oh man, it's kind of a sad situation. People are quick to judge and quick to just judge things on the surface, right? You've done it before too. You didn't read that book because the cover wasn't cool, or you didn't see that movie because the trailer didn't excite you. But a lot of the times you're missing out. So anyway, today is Monday. That means it's Create a Question of the Week time. This is a part of the series where I answer questions from you, the community, that you have left down in the comment section below. Again, we had another great week of comments and questions, and you guys really brought it this week. And so today I had a little bit of a hard time choosing one. There were a lot of great ones. Remember, if you guys ask a question that you really think should be answered, then repeat it, because I like to pick a question from the last week. So I actually saw a bunch of questions I wanted to answer from this week, but I can only choose one, right? I know a lot of people have suggested that I do like a question and answer series, and that's not a bad idea. I might be able to do that in the future. Maybe have some shorter answers, but answer like multiple questions in an episode. That could be fun. So I'm thinking about it. If you guys keep bringing these questions, I may have to. If you guys keep bringing some great, well thought out questions, then yeah, I might just do something like that. Okay. So thanks to, I think it was Ryan who suggested that. But speaking of Ryan, guess whose question got through today? Yes, that's from Ryan. Crazy Ryan. He asked, Bean, I kind of have a serious question. Who would have thought? What do you think will happen when fossil fuels run out? In my opinion, it probably won't be good, but it will be sad. But I will be sad that it happens. Oh, okay. Thank you, Ryan, for that question. Kind of a serious one, isn't it? All right. So I read this question and I immediately started thinking about, wait a second, why do you think fossil fuels will run out? I was in the same boat as you, Ryan. I'm pretty sure that in school that you were taught that fossil fuels will run out in your lifetime, right? They taught you that. They said that fossil fuels are a limited resource, and once we go through them, there's going to be more war and all sorts of things. Guys, come on. That is misinformation. That's misdirection. That is deception is what that is. To think that fossil fuels will run out is kind of a ridiculous idea. Oh my goodness. Okay, first of all, of the fossil fuels that we have found on this globe, it will last us well into like several centuries. That's just of what we have found. Our methods of retrieving the fuels are getting cleaner, and our methods of finding the fuels are getting better. And that's just of the fuel that we know about. Can you imagine how much fuel is in this earth that we have no idea about? It's probably astounding, and not to mention that fossil fuels are always like being created. There's constantly in a state of renewal. So yeah, guys, fossil fuels are not going to run out. And the reason why you were taught that is it's a type of fear mongering. It's a type of a way to, not only does it create panic and fear, it also increases the price of fossil fuels. The amount that these companies can charge for a barrel of gas or of oil goes up when you think that there's a finite amount. And there's not. There's so many fossil fuels in this. This planet is so big, and we've only been able to mine just a small percentage of it. We've tapped into a tiny percentage of this planet's possible fuel sources. And more at the end of the video, I'm going to talk about that a little bit more. But what I'm trying to say, guys, is you've been misled, and they've created the idea of lack. They've created the idea of there not being enough. In order to keep you in a state of control, they can control you better if you are fearful. Who is they? They is the oil companies, the companies who stand to make money when people think there is not an abundance of their products. Think about it for a second. Just think about that. These companies want to create the idea that there's not enough, so you'll pay more for it. And these are the companies that are funding the science. I'm using air quotes. They're funding the science behind it. It's crazy the world we live in. You got to open your eyes and see what's going on here. And this is not the only aspect of your life where the fear of lack is instilled in you. Look at food. You're probably thinking, oh, the people around the globe are starving. There's not enough food for everybody. You know, something like 3/10 out of people are in starvation or something like that. But there's enough food for everyone to be fat. There's enough food for everyone on this planet. The problem is in distribution. The people who need food aren't getting it, and the people who don't need food are stockpiling, having a surplus. And that's just the way things go, and it creates the idea of lack so that people kind of lose their minds a little bit when they think about these things, because it creates fear. If you think about the amount of food that the United States throws away, you could feed most of the third world nations who are living in a state of poverty twice over. That's how much food we throw away. So it's not about lack, it's about getting into the right hands. The upper class is eating lobsters while the lower class is eating canned food from a garbage dumpster. You know what I'm saying? So it's not about lack. It's not about there not being enough. It's just the distribution of it. Another thing is money, and this is the big one. The idea that money is scarce, the idea that money is something that there's not enough for everybody, that keeps the hamster wheel turning. Think about that, guys. We go through our life thinking that we got to make all this money because if I don't make it, the next guy will, and there'll be less for me, right? So the idea of the fear and lack of money has been instilled in you since you were a very small child. Since you learned how to talk, you kind of were taught the value of money. When the reality is, if there's enough money, again with the food situation, there's enough money for all human beings to live in a state of abundance. That's not an issue. And money is nothing. What is money anyway? At this point in our society, money is a number on a computer screen. Okay? You go to get a loan at the bank, and you say, okay, I need $30,000 to pay for my house, right? Just an example. And they say, okay, bloop, 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 bloop. Okay, you now have $30,000. Like no diamonds, no gold, nothing has changed hands. It's just that the bank has created this money out of nothing. They put a number on your screen. No money was ever transacted. Right, but now you got $30,000 with debt on it, with the APR, right? So I mean, that's just a way to. It's just so much fear mongering, guys. The idea of lack is something that's been instilled into human beings since the beginning of time, so that we live in a state of fear, so that we're easily controlled, so that you feel compelled, that you feel obligated to forget about what it is you want to do with your life and instead go get a job that's going to pay the bills, right? So you go off and you find a job that you don't really like doing because, it's not in alignment with who you are, what you want to do with your life, the way you want to give to the world, but you got to do it because you got to pay the bills. So you go get this job that you hate and you spend about 40 years doing this job that you hate. You get enough money to keep you in the lifestyle that you want to be in. But then you look back at your life when you're about 60 years old and you're like, oh my goodness, what did I just do? I just wasted the entire golden years of my life chasing some number on a computer screen when I could have been out there doing what I love to do, being happy, being in a state of abundance and happiness and prosperity without worrying about the numbers on the computer screen. So that's the way for the controllers, who are the heads of the major corporations, heads of the banks, right? Heads of our political process, our presidents, our senators, our congressmen. They're all in the pockets of these large corporations who stands to gain a lot of financial benefits from a country who's got a great economy. We always talk about the economy, the great economy. Well, our country's got the best economy. What is that? It's just making stuff that people don't need so that the rich can get richer. That's all an economy is. So when the president says, "Oh, we got to focus on the economy," what they're saying is we got to put more energy into this machine that is sucking the life out of people, and we got to create a fear based on lack in order to put people into those machines, right? It's just like they put people in fear of terrorism in order to fund their wars. If there was no threat of terrorism, there would be no soldiers signing up to go to Iraq. So what do? They create the fear of terrorism. I'm not going to say with 100% certainty, but I'm 95% sure that the U.S. is funding ISIS, giving them the resources they need to continue what they're doing, just so the U.S. has a reason to convince the people to go into Syria. Follow the money, and you see where these where the power and the oh man, I get so worked up about this. It's so obvious when you take a step back, when you really realize how much the media is manipulating you, when you realize how much you know is based on the schooling you got, which was provided by your government, which stands to gain a lot by misinforming you. When you step back from that, you kind of start to see these patterns. You start to recognize that, things are not what they seem. There's a lot of manipulation. There's a lot of misinformation in order to manipulate. And there's a lot of fear. And I encourage you all to get rid of that fear. You have the fear that we're going to run out of fossil fuels. Let me tell you something. There is an unlimited source of energy in the center of the earth. Unlimited. And all it takes is a technology to come out in order for us to tap it, and then infinite fossil fuels. It's not really fossil fuels since it is the life force of the earth, but not to mention the wind that the earth provides, not to mention the ocean hydroelectric power that the ocean provides. There's an unlimited source of energy and technology to have infinite energy. So Ryan, when you ask what's going to happen when fossil fuels are gone, A, they're not going to be gone. B, they're not going to be gone. Okay? And C, there's always infinite potential for energy on this planet. And then that's not even counting the sun. I mean, there's so much infinite potential of energy. Energy is infinite. Energy is everywhere. It's just a matter of having the technology to tap into it. And part of me knows that technology already exists and is not being presented to people because they're making so much money off of fossil fuels. Let's say you had the technology to extract energy from the center of the earth and it was infinite, and you could put one of these things in everyone's home and then have infinite energy and there would be no problems. As an electric company, as a fossil fuel company, do you want the public to have that? As a government, when you're getting all this taxes and from the fossil fuel corporations, do you want the people to have free energy? Absolutely not. So not only do we not have this technology at our disposal, we're probably never going to have it as long as we put faith into this corrupt government, this corrupt system. It's not even a particular government, it's a system where certain people have so much more power, more money, more food than the rest. Then we're always going to be manipulated by those people in positions of power. Always. There will always be manipulation. So the gist of what I'm trying to say here is going into the future, you guys are the younger generation, you're the future, you're going to have to strive for equality, not just social equality, not just for gender equality, but also economic equality, also food equality, energy equality. Everyone needs to be equal in order for us to progress as a species, because as long as a group of people holds power over the less fortunate, then we are always going to be deceived. We're always going to be misled. We're always going to live in a state of fear. And that fear is going to be instilled in you by the media, by your teachers. We're going to run out of fossil fuels. It's going to be a Mad Max situation. There's going to be Beyond Thunderdome, right? That's what my teachers told me, and they're idiots. They're straight up idiots. So that's what I want to say about that. Thank you to Ryan for that great question. That was a really good one. Thank you, Ryan. Keep them coming, guys. And we'll always have creative questions of the week to answer, and that'd be awesome. So I want to thank you guys for all the support that you give. If you didn't like what I said today, don't dislike the video. Put a comment and start a discussion, all right? Thank you guys for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed this. Happy Minecrafting. Peace.